1984. They will start a 3-game series against the Cleveland Guardians tonight from Petco. Kyle Hart will be making his debut for the Padres, while Luis Ortiz will go for Cleveland. The Padres are currently a -135 favorite. And Magoon-Guath, per reports of the X-Account League Ready, is taking a Zoom meeting with both Kentucky and Michigan, but has not ruled out a return to San Diego State. Rapid Radio is your instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. Perfect for instant contact with an aging parent. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com. You'll get an extra 60% off and free UPS shipping. Add code radio, you get an extra 5% off.
Yeah, let's get it going on a Monday. Welcome in, welcome back after the weekend. The San Diego Padres are 4-0. They're never going to lose again. And we get things going on a Monday here in San Diego. Good weekend. We had San Diego FC gets a win over LAFC, right? Not LA Galaxy. So the boys are winning down at Snapdragon Stadium. The boys were winning down at Petco Park. Fernando Tatis Jr. with a hot start to the season, same as Jackson Merrill. And Nick Pivetta comes in 7 innings, 1 hit, faces the minimum in yesterday's game against the Braves. Hell of a weekend down at Petco Park. Hell of a start for the Padres, who, like Sammy said, for the first time since 1984, are 4-0. Sammy, do you know how the 1984 season ended for the San Diego Padres?
How did it end, Fletch?
That would be with a trip to the World Series. Not saying anything about this year's squad, but maybe this year's squad has the same thing. Hey, give us a follow on both YouTube and X. On X, we are at Fletch and Sammy. You can find us there. We're streaming there. You can see the video every single day. On YouTube, at San Diego Sports 760, where Sammy and I will be streaming every day. John and Jim as well. That about wraps up the paperwork. Sammy, you were at the ball game Friday night. How was that?
It was excellent. It was, obviously Petco, unbelievable. Just on a non-baseball topic, new vendors everywhere. We were talking about this last week. Like, love how Petco just changes it up, kind of a new surprise every year. Ballpark was electric. It was a really good game, and winning 4-3. Cronenworth absolutely turned on a ball
into the Crone Zone, baby.
In the Crone Zone.
Remember that was the Friday morning, or the Friday when we were on the air, we were talking about people saying Cronenworth should be traded after one bad performance.
Yeah,
he silenced the haters.
That tune changed in the crowd real quickly, but no, it was a really fun game, and Cease pitched really well. I think Schilt maybe left him in a little too long. That's why he gave the 1 home run, but thought he was excellent. Padres playing some damn good ball over the weekend.
Yeah, clean baseball, and they figured out how to just keep that momentum that they had in the second half of last year, rolling straight into the first half of this year. It was impressive to see for 4 games. Now, can you do that over a 162 game season? Is where you'll be measured, because yes, the Padres are 4-0. The Dodgers are 5-0. And it doesn't matter how many Roki Sasaki crying memes you see on the internet today. The Dodgers are still a damn good baseball team at 5-0. And we'll see that we don't get the first matchup between the Padres and the Dodgers until June.
That's crazy.
Shame on you, MLB. How can you take the best rivalry you've had over the last couple of years and save the first game for 2 months into the season?
Don't you feel like the opening weekend should be Dodgers, Padres, Red Sox, Yankees? I mean, Take all the best rivalries in baseball and get after it.
Now, there's going to be people who complain that you just said Padres, Dodgers are the biggest rivalry, because Dodger fans and Giants fans think that they have the biggest rivalry. But over the last couple of years, it's been clear who the most hated teams
I think, in the past, it was Dodgers, Padres, or Dodgers, Giants. But Dodgers, Padres, certainly the last few years has the kind of magnitude. I think you saw it in the ratings reflected last year in the playoffs.
For sure. Either way, fun first weekend for the Padres. I'll be going tomorrow night for the Padres game against the Guardians at Petco Park. Excited to see it. What kind of food did you eat Friday night, Sam?
I know I'm going to get made fun of for this, but I actually had beer in an acai bowl.
An acai bowl?
Yeah.
An acai bowl? Are you turning into John Schaefer on me? What's happening here?
No, I was chugging beer, and I was like, you know what, let's try to be a little healthy and not slam hot dogs and have heartburn in like 2 hours. So it was a long game. So acai bowl. And
acai bowl. I think Sammy's saying that wrong.
I'm saying it right. You're saying it wrong.
70. Is it acai bowl?
You're trying to do like an accent.
How are you saying it?
Acai bowl.
Acai
bowl. I
think that's wrong.
There's like a little accent on the C.
I think it's acai.
But by the way, can I just say something? I'm sitting there and watching the game, watching the Padres, having a great time. And I'm looking around, and my friend got the tickets. He's been a long time season ticket holder. They keep moving him down because he's been a season ticket holder for many years. And I'm looking around, and I see people with gloves. Not 12-year-old kids with gloves at the game. Grown men.
Wait, did you not bring your glove?
No.
You're messing up, Sammy. What if there was a foul ball hitting?
because I'm not going to bring a glove to a game. I've grown men with gloves, and I equate it to this. I think the same people that bring a glove to a game are the same people that clap when the airplane lands.
Nothing wrong with either of those things. Nothing wrong with a grown man bringing a glove to a baseball
There's
game.
1,000% a problem with that.
This is an age-old argument.
You bare hand that thing. If you are under the age of 14 and you want to bring a glove to a game, that is perfect.
Now, I'm going to the Padres game tomorrow night. I'm not going to say I'm bringing my glove.
If you bring a glove...
However, I have no problem with someone bringing a glove to a game.
I have a massive problem with that.
You know how bad it hurts to try to catch a foul ball barehanded?
You know how dope you look if you do?
Yeah, I mean, just a quick story. I was sitting right behind home plate. This was maybe 2 years ago now, 2 seasons ago. I brought my mom and dad when we went to the game. And there was a foul ball that went right over the netting and was coming right down towards us.
Exactly. Let's reach up.
Mom was not paying attention, and it was going to hit her in the head.
Snag it from mom.
I actually went for the deflection because I was worried that it was going to knock my mom out.
See, did you need a glove for that?
I didn't, but Sam, I wish I
didn't need a glove for it.
If I had a glove, there would be no need for a deflection.
No.
It would just be straight catch.
I'm telling you, I think it's not a good look.
Okay, that's fine. You can think that way. I think you need to rip up your cool card a little bit and be okay with just having fun at a baseball game. Padres 4-0, hell of a start to the season. We'll see if they can keep that thing rolling. Remember last year, the first half of the year, really the first 2/3 of the year, they were 50-50 when they got to the 100-game mark, and then they went on their tear to end the season. It feels like they've opened up with a mini tear, sweeping the Braves 4-0. That's great, man. We think the Braves are going to be a playoff team. So this was an excellent way to start your season, but we'll see how it goes the rest of the way. I'm excited to go to the game tomorrow night. I'm excited to get some tri-tip sandwiches, not acai bowls. But
we had a lot of local beer. It was fantastic.
We'll see what's going on. Let's get to it every single day. Sammy Long takes us through the biggest 3 stories in the world of sports with the big 3. Hit that button.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? Coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The big 3.
All right, we just got some breaking news out of the NFL, so we're changing this a little bit. So
tush push?
We're going to get to that in a second. Let's not spoil our topics.
Sorry.
Tom Pelissero, right now, sources, NFL owners passed a resolution allowing the league to flex Sunday games to Thursday night with 21 days notice.
Wait, repeat that.
So now with 21 days notice, you can flex games on a Sunday to Thursday night. People have criticized the NFL for years because every team gets a Thursday night football game for the Thursday night games not being very good. So now it is official. You can flex games from Sunday to Thursday night football. I think this is
how does that work? That's competing networks. So unless everything has changed, Sunday night is generally Peacock. Thursday night is Amazon. Is there some sort of merger we don't know about that's going to allow
No. This is
happen?
just Sunday games. Any game on a Sunday.
Oh, so you take the best matchup on a Sunday.
Yeah, not necessarily Sunday Night Football. Sunday Night Football, I think, still has the right to the best game.
So if the Ravens and Steelers are buried in the 10 a.m. window on a Sunday, you can take that game and throw it into Thursday if you have like the Jags and the Browns playing on Thursday.
It used to be 28 days notice. That only happened one time. So I think this is a big deal because for years, how many times have we seen Jags playing Tennessee in week 14 in the NFL, and it's like no one cares about that. We're trying to see games for that worry about the playoff picture. I think this could improve the Thursday night football product.
Okay, I like it. Story 2.
Also staying in the NFL. Actually, we're head to we'll stay in the NFL. All right, tush push being put on the ballot. Apparently, there's a lot of momentum to get it banned. How are we feeling about this? Do we think it should be banned? Do we think it should be allowed? What are your thoughts?
I don't like the tush push. I don't like that it's a thing in football, but to go so far as to ban it, it puts me in a weird spot because I think I've kind of been leading the charge here when it was Big Rich, TD, and Fletch of the fact that it should be banned. It's a dumb advantage that one team gets. But now that it actually is going to get banned, I feel like that's not fair either. The NFL's in a tricky spot here because it is a clear advantage that's gotten one team to the Super Bowl. It's been a leading factor in that 2 times over the last, 3 seasons with the Philadelphia Eagles. And they are the only team who runs it to perfection. Other teams have tried. Josh Allen failed. I thought he got the first down. But look, the Bills failed with the tush push as early as this season in the postseason. And the Eagles have a free 2 yards anytime they want it. I don't think it's a football play. It looks like a rugby play to me. I don't think it necessarily belongs in the NFL, but I also think the NFL can get their grubby hands off things and stop changing rules. I don't know. Jason McIntyre
There's so much wrong with what you just said there.
Jason McIntyre was making it seem like it was done. Like they're banning it.
That is the best thing about the NFL, that they change rules. This is why they're ahead of every other league in this sense. And that's why we're going to get to later about torpedo bats and how I think there's something there for the MLB. It's a real opportunity for the MLB. I think it should be banned in this. I was always for let it go, let it be whatever it is. But as you mentioned, It is the Eagles can run it to perfection. They own the play. It's almost impossible. If they're within a yard or two, they're going to get it. It's been stopped like one time legitimately without Jalen Hurts fumbling the football. The Commanders got it once. I think there needs to either be banned. It needs to either be you can't do it in the red zone, because it's literally, if they get to the 3-yard line, just give them a touchdown. I mean, they're just burning clock. They're getting right in there. Or you need to change the rules so the defense can jump the center.
Give me the Troy Polamalu leap.
That's what they took out. The only way that you're going to be able to stop this, and why teams are going to stop doing it, is if you're tush push and some safety's flying over the center and going to rock your quarterback. You can't do that anymore, so it's not really a thing. They need to change the rules to help the defense out, because this is just a free play, and if it gets anywhere close, the Eagles are getting a first down, and it's kind of BS.
You know, Sammy's against it once it happened to his Chiefs.
Oh, shut up.
I do think it should probably be banned, and we'll see. I'd honestly be surprised if it doesn't get banned at this point, which, again, I'm a little out on the NFL just banning one thing for one team, because one team can do it so much better. But for 3 years now, I've been against the tush push, so I guess I kind of have to stay against it and be proud of the NFL for switching it up.
I just think they need to put parameters on it. If you're going to keep it in the game, again, you need to make it not in the red zone, something like that.
Story 3.
All right, heading to the Final Four. All number 1 seeds are in the Final Four. What would be the most exciting championship matchup?
I am a little bummed that it's all 1 seeds. Aren't you? Now, Sammy, this was 4 weeks ago, before the tournament had begun, when people first started filling out their brackets, and you criticized Jay Williams of ESPN in a big way, because did he have all 4 number 1 seeds making it to the Final Four?
He had all 1 and 2 seeds making the Elite Eight, and all 1 seeds in the Final Four.
You said this was ridiculously soft. You said that Jay Williams he gets paid a ton of money to be an analyst of college basketball, and the fact that he's just throwing the top seeds in there, you might as well have had your girlfriend who never watches basketball just fill that bracket out. They can do the same thing. Well, Jay Williams was right.
He was right. I'll eat it. I thought it was still lame to pick all 1 seeds, but I guess I'll eat it because it happened. Here's the solace in it. I think that we're gonna get into this more later in the third segment. It was kind of a boring weekend in the sense that none of the Elite Eight games were even close or really competitive. They didn't really come down at the end. It felt like the 1 seeds clearly were a cut above everyone else. I do think now that we're going to get some really good matchups, because Duke has kind of ran through everyone except Arizona. And it really hasn't felt close for a lot of these teams. I think Florida Duke would be really exciting, because Florida has shown the kind of heart throughout this tournament. They've gotten down at times. In the Sweet 16, they were down 10 with a few minutes to go, came back. I think they have the star power to match Duke. And we're going to get some good matchups. But yeah, it definitely felt like a little bit of a dud of a weekend. I'm curious to see what the ratings are for it.
I was talking to my buddy while the Saturday night games were going on, and he called it March Madness this year, because it has not delivered the typical impact and punch that March Madness does. So we got Florida Auburn playing Saturday at 3:09, Houston Duke Saturday right after that, 5:49. Both those games will be heard right here on San Diego Sports 760. And I would tend to agree with you. Florida has been the best story of the teams who are left so far this season. They've had the drama. They've had Walter Clayton Jr. really take over games at time and fall apart in one of the games. And then Houston against Duke. I want to see Duke lose because I hate Duke. And I think that that's where the majority of the country is, but I'd almost rather see Duke lose in the final.
And it feels like Houston has certainly been the most disrespected 1 seed, because people have given Duke their flowers, rightfully so. Auburn,
they've been beating the crap out of everybody. Duke's also shooting an insane percentage of the field throughout this tournament.
You kind of feel like they're going to get caught at one of these points.
And Houston's seem to do it. Big, physical, tough. Cooper Flag, try to do your little silly dribble into the lane and find a guy passing. You're going to get clobbered.
Yeah, I'm excited. Hopefully they're good games, but definitely this weekend was a little bit of dud in the tournament.
March Madness, which is unfortunate. It's like the best time of year, and the best time of year this year does feel like it's been knocked down a peg, which sort of sucks. But we'll see. Maybe it'll get better. Maybe this is the best Final Four ever. You got the best teams in the country going at it. That's what you want, right?
Yeah, at least you don't have some major. I mean, the spreads are pretty tight from a betting perspective. It's going to be fun, but we'll see.
We'll see. That's the right way to put it. All right, we'll take our first break of the day. Good Big Three, Sammy. Coming up next, torpedo bats as the number 1 trending story in the world right now. Torpedo bats. Might sound like a fun little toy that you get when you're a kid, but it's real. It has taken baseball by storm. We'll talk about them coming up next. It's San Diego Sports 760. Do you think Jackson Merrill is going to get more than 1.5 total bases tonight? Do you think Fernando Tatis Jr. is going to steal a base tonight? How about Manny Machado? Do you think he's going to get a couple hits tonight? Well, if you think that the Padres are going to do well, download the Prize Picks app and put your money where your mouth is. Download Prize Picks today. Use promo code Fletch. You're going to get a $50 bonus when you play your first $5 entry. And when you do that, you can start making lineups. If you got hot takes, if you're a sports fan and you think one guy's going to go off, one guy's going to have a terrible night, you can go more than or less than on just about any sport you can imagine. We're talking international volleyball. We're talking tennis. We're talking baseball, soccer, basketball, NASCAR. It doesn't matter. Whatever you're into, Prize Picks has lineups that you can set today, right now. It takes about 60 seconds to download the app and create a profile. And when you do that, use promo code Fletch, FLETCH, because you're going to get a $50 bonus to get you going. My favorite part about Prize Picks, the promotions. On Tuesdays, we have something we call Taco Tuesday, where you can build up some tasty entries and get discounted rates on some of the top performing athletes in the world. On Fridays, we have Flex Fridays, where you can make an entry up to $20. And even if that entry doesn't win, you're getting that $20 back in promo funds. So it's a free shot on the bingo board. Download Prize Picks today. Take advantage of the sports you're already watching. Start cooking up some major entries. And coming up at 12:45, Sammy Long, he's just going to give you an entry for free because that's the kind of guy he is. Download Prize Picks today. Use promo code Fletch. Get that $50 bonus and run your game all season long on Prize Picks. We got Lakers basketball tonight when the Lakers are taking on the Rockets. Pre-game coverage gets going at 6:45. Tip around 7 right here on your home for Lakers basketball in San Diego. San Diego Sports 760. Question for the text line before we get into the torpedo bats. Who's been your MVP so far for the San Diego Padres? You got a lot of options, right? 70470. Start your message with team. Is it Jackson Merrill, who is an RBI machine so far through the season? I think he's up to 5 on the year so far. Fernando Tatis Jr. with that huge homer in game 2 of the series. He's hitting 467 on the season so far. Could he keep that up all year? Maybe. It's possible, right? Have another career 400 hitter. with the Padres. But who's been your MVP so far? Is it Nick Pivetta, who faces the minimum yesterday, goes 7 innings, allows only 1 hit? We were on no watch for a little bit at least. Who has been that guy so far through the first 4 games of the season? Hit us up on the text line 70470. Start your message with team. Sammy, who would be yours?
I would actually do it. I'd say Pivetta and Vasquez. I think the way that they pitch better than King and Cease. And we know that King and Cease have the stuff to be great, especially Cease. We know what he is. But
there's something about fighting for a job that I feel like lifts you up a little bit in those moments.
Totally. And I think that's what we've been talking about coming into the season was can the Padres rely on the back half of this rotation? And certainly from the first weekend. I know it's early, but they look like they got the stuff. And
Manny's been playing awesome.
Right, because we knew heading in the bats were going to be great.
3 doubles for Manny already through 4 games?
Right, that huge. But we knew the bats were going to be good. That wasn't a question for me, at least heading into the season. This top 4 of the Padre lineup, a lot of people in Major League Baseball would trade their team for to have. It's the pitching staff. Can they keep up with the injuries to Musgrove and Darvish? But they certainly look like they got it, and it's a very encouraging sign early.
I like that. The co-MVPs from Sammy Long. For me, it is Fernando, looking like Fernando.
Yeah.
It's Fernando fully healthy entering a season. What can he do if he puts together 150 games? Or what coach say on Wednesday last week? He said if we see him play 140, play 140 games this season and see what numbers he can actually put up. Because the only time we've seen Fernando in a full season was a 60-game season. It was the COVID year. But if we get a full year worth of Fernando Tatis Jr. and him playing the way he's playing right now, look, that's unrealistic to think that's going to happen over a 162-game season. But just to see a fully healthy Fernando stealing bases, playing a great right field, and leading off every single game, I love that he's in that leadoff spot because it gives you the ability to see more Fernando throughout an entire game.
He has the feeling right now of when he doesn't get a hit, it's surprising.
Right.
It's like he's got
awesome spot.
He's got the Ohtani kind of vibe in the sense that when they're not on base, you think, wow, that's a massive win for the other team.
And clearly, like Major League Baseball, when he was 19 years old and coming up with the Padres for the first time, 2019, I want to say, they thought he was going to be that guy. They put him on the cover of MLB The Show heading into his second year. He had the BMW endorsements. He had everything. And then, look, it's been a rocky road for Fernando between a motorcycle accident, between a PED suspension, between the shoulder that just kept popping out of its joints no matter what he was trying to do. It's been a rocky road for Fernando, but it feels like he's almost hitting the reset button on his career. Maybe this year is the start of something brand new. I hope he stays healthy for this year. I hope we get to see this full year of Fernando and see what kind of damage he can do. All right, torpedo bats is something that's now in the lexicon of sports. Hell, Colin Cowherd, who hardly talks any baseball, was talking about torpedo bats today. And this was something that got kind of weird coverage over the weekend, I would say, because if you just read what was on social media, if you were just watching little clips, you would think that the New York Yankees have somehow acquired some super bat from some nerd over at MIT who created this bat, which moved the sweet spot from where it's traditionally been on a Major League Baseball bat just down a couple of inches because he said that's not where most baseballs are hit. So this guy's a genius. He's going to be very rich. He's going to now get contracts with every team. By the way, the Padres have now ordered these bats. The Dodgers have now ordered these bats. But this wasn't a Yankee-specific thing to start the year. There's actually players sprinkled throughout the league who are using this. And actually, the guy who's gotten the most publicity about this, and Aaron Judge, who had 3 homers in 3 innings this weekend, was not the guy who's even using this bat.
Yeah. Well, another thing in there that people kind of forget is Giancarlo Stanton last year used it.
Right.
And the reason why he used it is because the thought of why you wouldn't do this to a bat is that it makes it heavier and it decreases your bat speed. But Stanton, knowing that he swings on average mile per hour, 3 miles per hour more than most players in the league, he's like, I'll take a little bit off the bat speed if I can just hit nukes out of there. And the Yankees, 20 runs, they lit up Cortez, who was the former Yankee, was making his debut return. They were hitting it all over the yard. Chisholm had like 3 or 4 home runs. Bellinger had 1. Austin Wells had a couple. So, certainly, I think it's good for baseball. This is a real opportunity for baseball, Fletch. I don't know how you feel about this because for many years, this ties back to the tush push. The NFL has been so good at when there's a problem, when the Rams and Saints pass interference penalty comes across and they want to be able to review it, they adopt the rule. Then they take it back because they realize that that's not a great rule and we don't want to be holding up the games. They're always making minor adjustments. Major League Baseball, before the pitch clock, was always kind of stuck in their ways. We don't change. We don't care that the game's too long, all this stuff. And now look at these years later. Everyone loves the pitch clock. You can sit there and watch a baseball game in 2.5 hours. It doesn't take 4 hours. I think this is a massive thing. You can get in a lab in make a new pitch over a weekend. So it's good that the hitters are now creating something. If this adds more offense to the league, I think this is a great ad.
I'm great with it, man. More home runs, better baseball with more home runs. The steroid era, like, let's not forget, the most popular baseball's ever been was when Barry Bonds and Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire were all going for like 60 plus home run seasons. That's when baseball was at its best, was the race between Sosa and Bonds. Who is going to take down McGwire? If this is adding a little bit more power into the game, I'm for it. Chisholm was the guy we were talking about before the show, Sammy. Not a power hitter, dropping absolute nukes all over the place. So essentially what this is doing, from what I understand about the bat, and if I'm wrong, someone correct me. From what I understand about the bat is it's essentially taking the hardest part of the bat, which historically has been right around the label where you see the Louisville Slugger sign, and it's moving that hard part down a little bit. So if you look at the shape, it's actually thinner at the end. And then as it gets back into the sweet spot area, it gets a little bit bigger and a little bit denser. And that's where traditionally most balls get hit, is actually closer to the handle than it is to where the sweet spot's traditionally been. So now with batters who don't really have to change anything outside of maybe getting used to swinging a little bit heavier of a bat, you're able to get better contact on the better part of the wood for you to hit more home runs and hit the ball harder. And if it works for baseball, and clearly, at least in a small sample size, the Yankees have the most guys doing it. It's Bellinger, Chisholm, Goldschmidt, Volpe, Wells. That's all the Yankees I'm seeing on this list. But then there's Adley Rutschman, who is a catcher for the Orioles, Dansby Swanson, Chicago Cubs. There are guys throughout the league who have adopted these bats. And if you get good at using them and it gives you an 1/8 of a percentage better chance to hit the ball 1/8 of a percentage harder, good.
Right, and we see this pushback from pitchers. Jeff Passan said a thing. He's like,
"Screw you, pitchers. Go get some spider tack."
Exactly. He said every hitter around the league is like, "Let me get one of these things," and every pitcher's like, "No." Again, pitchers have so much help in a lab. They can take minor changes and tweak things. And I mean, how many pitches have we seen created over the last 20 years that just weren't in baseball 40 years ago?
Or the same pitch just thrown a little bit differently. Like I don't know if you were watching the broadcast. No, you were at the game. So when Dylan Cease was pitching. But they were talking about the difference between Dylan Cease's slider and Chris Sale's slider, who pitched in the opener for the Braves. And now Chris Sale wants that real deep diving action, and Dylan Cease actually wants his to rise a little bit as it goes into the plate.
Hitters are using the same bat that Babe Ruth was using back in the day.
Yep.
I mean, why do hitters not, the hitters which make baseball, which make ratings, which make people saying, I want to be a baseball player, I want to see Tatis hitting it out of the park. Why did they not get adjustments, but pitchers are allowed to? I think this is a great thing for baseball.
Shame on the players who haven't already taken a look at this. Like, it's been in the league. Why is it just now becoming popularized? Shame on baseball fans who are saying that this should not be a thing all around the league. I'm for better batting in baseball. I think that makes the game better. It makes it a little more approachable. All right, quick break. When we come back, we got to get deeper into what these actual Padres have done. We've taken the overview look, but let's get into some of the numbers. And we want to know your MVP through the first 4 games. 70470. Start your message with team. Hit us up on the text line. Quick break. We'll be right back.
This report is sponsored by Anderson Plumbing, Heating, and Air. SCFC got a huge victory over LAFC 3-2. They'll be back in action on Saturday from Snapdragon, taking on the Seattle Sounders. That game will get going at 7:30, but the pregame starting at 6:30 right here on San Diego Sports 760. And the Padres will start a 3-game series against the Cleveland Guardians. Kyle Hart will be making his debut for the Pods, while Luis Ortiz will go for Cleveland. The Padres are currently a -135 favorite. Make a move with Anderson, upgrade your water heater. You'll increase comfort and your home's value. And here's a hot deal. Get a free water pressure regulator worth $1,300. Get started at AndersonPHA.com today.
San Diego Sports 760. It's the Fletch Zone. Welcome in. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock today. John and Jim will take over then. If you don't already do so, please do follow us on X at Fletch and Sammy on X, and on YouTube at San Diego Sports 760. We are live streaming there every single day. You can find us on both of those platforms. All right. I'm going to the Padres game tonight, going to Petco Park. Excited to try some food. Not going to go for what do you call it again?
Acai bowl?
That's not how you say it. Acai bowl. Not going to try one of those.
So you know how to say it, but then you don't want to get one. You're critiquing me on one, but
I
you
don't really like them that much, man. They taste like
healthy.
You're drinking like plants, but I don't know.
By the way, 858 responded to our little, we were discussing earlier about people bringing gloves to games. 858, very good take. No grown man should ever bring a glove to a baseball game. Use your beer cup if you're not man enough to catch it with your hands. Hear that, Fletch?
I hear it. I'm not going to shame anybody for bringing a baseball glove to a baseball game.
If you are a child, it's okay.
No, grown men, grown women, grown anybody, grandmas, grandpas, everybody should be allowed to do what they want. Bring a baseball glove to a baseball game. That makes perfect sense. Look, if you got a projectile coming 80 miles an hour at your face, you want to have something that's designed to catch that projectile. Am I right or am I wrong? At a certain point,
there's a reason that you have hands.
Yeah. Sammy, I don't want to break a hand dealing with it. Again, I'm going to the Padres game tomorrow night. I'm not planning on bringing a glove, but now I almost want to silence all you haters.
If you bring a glove to the game, please, to our listeners, go find Fletch and embarrass him with whoever he's with, because that is just, I'm not having you degrading this show by bringing a glove to game. If I see Jim Russell at a game with a glove, we are snatching that thing.
It's not a big deal, Sammy. I really think you got to rip up your cool card and stop caring what people think about you. 858, would the NFL change the tush push policy if the Cowboys, Chiefs, or Patriots could execute? Hell no, go Birds. Brings up an interesting point. Like if Patty Mahomes was easily picking up 2 or 3 yards.
But Philly's a big brand, though.
And Philly's a huge brand, but
I feel like this would hold more if it was like Jacksonville, but Philly's a massive fan base. They're one of the most famous teams in the NFL. I
think teams are starting to get a little peeved at the fact that the tush push may be responsible for getting the Philadelphia Eagles to the Super Bowl now 2 out of 3 years.
I mean, they were the best team last year. They deserve to win the Super Bowl.
Who they beat, by the way?
You talk a lot of mess for a team that's about to pay Brock Purdy $500 million.
What was the final score, by the way?
I can't wait for that to come in. We're going to spend a week talking about Brock Purdy and how he's going to decimate that franchise. But no.
619. I'm an adult. I've taken my glove to Petco for batting practice. Caught a few balls too. Ha 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 ha. Good for you, 619.
Maybe 619 has a small child.
No, 619. He wants to go catch baseballs. I get it.
So you'd rather put a glove in your hand than a beer.
If I'm going to a place where there's going to be bullets flying, Sammy, I'm going to be wearing a Kevlar vest.
I'm look out for you at the Padre game. I'm so sorry you have to brave that territory.
Dude, legitimately, there are baseballs flying very, very fast, very hard.
All you have to do is pay attention, watch the game. See, the problem is people don't watch the game.
Here's what I want to have. I want Sammy to go sit down like just past the third baseline where the net finally stops, I'll
sit there and I will palm that thing
to come at you, and I want you to break every bone in your hand. Every single bone in your hand.
I will literally, that's ironic coming from a guy who broke his ankle on an acorn. I will literally diamond that thing, man.
Bam fib.
I'll throw it back to Kyle. If I'll go tonight, I'll throw that thing back to Kyle Hart. I'll go, I got you, bro.
Yeah.
Right back out there. Cannon from the third baseline.
Sure.
Text line agrees with me on this.
No, they don't. 619 just texted in. All right, these Padres. So far, I think this has been about as good as it could possibly go. March Madness, by the way, we will get back to in just a little bit. Long shots coming up at 12:45. So far for the Padres, this has gone about as good as it could possibly go, because like Sammy said a little bit earlier, your 2 worst pitching performances so far have come from Michael King and Dylan Cease, who are supposed to be the anchors for this program moving forward. Now, Dylan Cease did have 7 or 8 strikeouts in that game. He pitched well, but and obviously well enough to win. Padres are 4-0. but it has come from Vasquez and it's come from Pivetta, who both pitched excellently. Pivetta going 7 innings strong and facing the minimum. Facing the minimum, meaning the least amount of batters he could possibly face through 7 innings is what he faced. And it got a ton of ground outs, was working early. I love watching Nick Pivetta pitch, by the way, because he is constantly seemingly mad at every step he takes into the ground when he's looking at it. And he's just kind of stalking around the mound. And then he's getting the ball on fire, and it moves quickly when Nick Pivetta's pitching. But he was staying in the strike zone the whole time, too, getting a ton of ground out outs. And that's the key to success for a guy like Pivetta. And if he can keep that going all season long, and if you're able to get 3 solid pitchers for the Padres, and then you kind of fill in the gaps with the other 2 starting rotation spots, you're going to have a lot of success. But this feeling that San Diegans have right now of, oh, this team just really carried the momentum that they had in the second portion of last year post All-Star break and just transitioned it into 2025 baseball. If they actually are doing that, and I'm not going to overreact to 4 games, if they actually are doing that, is it possible that the NL West is actually competitive?
Well, they just released, Bleacher Report released a top 5 today. Or a power rankings in 3 teams in the top 5. Dodgers are 1 at 5-0. Padres are 2 at 4-0, and then the Diamondbacks at 5. This is a super competitive division.
It's the best division in baseball. I think we could say that on paper heading into this year.
Dodgers 5-0, Padres 4-0. The Diamondbacks are 2-2, but they played a good Cubs team. They had 8 runs in the 8th inning last night. And hell, the Giants are 2-1. I don't know if the Rockies are still a franchise, but they can be cut out. Colorado is bringing down the rep of the NL West, but that's free wins for everyone in the NL West.
The Rockies are playing right now, actually, against the Phillies.
So it's fun, man. And I think the Padres really something that maybe went a little too under the radar, and I was guilty of it as well. And again, we're not going to overreact. It's still only 4 games, but the bullpen is really one of the best in the league. And I think after the Dodgers, you could make an argument the Padres are probably the second best bullpen. I know Cleveland's got a case there, so we'll see them tonight. But even losing Tanner Scott, Jason Adam, excellent. Robert Suarez on Friday was money, came in with the save. Estrada has been excellent over I believe he pitched yesterday. So this bullpen's really good. We've known the bats are there, and now we're seeing the problem last year was they didn't get any help after 1 through 6. And now you're looking at Gavin Sheets playing very well. People forget Gavin Sheets was a 1st-round draft pick not too long ago. He just played on the White Sox, so no one cared, and he was kind of wasting away on there. This is a great find by AJ Preller. Luis Arraez needs to be better, but I expect that the batting champion will be better. I know he's 0 for 13, but very exciting start to the season for the Padres, and I'm excited to see him. And you're playing a team in Atlanta that should be there at the end. I know they're not missing Acuna 4 games into the season, but it's big for tiebreakers.
Yeah, for sure. And look, the fact that Gavin Sheets is getting time is the right thing. He's 4 of 11 on the season so far. The Luis Arraez thing is hilarious to me because I have seen that a lot so far. It's like, what the hell is this guy doing? Why isn't he hitting? Luis Arraez will be fine. The dude, all he does is post a 320 batting average throughout his entire career. I would expect him to be in that neighborhood once again this year. And the real thing when you think about it is like it's more important for a Fernando Tatis or a Manny Machado or Jackson Merrill to be getting all the big hits early, and then Luis Arraez is there to fill in the gaps later on. He's the Mr. Consistent. Is it weird that Luis Arraez maybe is 0 for 13 in his first stint as a non-leadoff hitter? I think mentally that's going to take him a little bit to get used to, is batting second, batting behind Fernando Tatis Jr. It is more important for me, and I think I've said this for 4 years now, that Fernando Tatis Jr. is batting leadoff. He is the proper tone setter for this Padres. He has the right swagger. He has the right big impact moments. And by the way, the first pitch the Padres saw on Friday night in that game 2 was a Bebo blast.
I understand the thought process of you want to load up the bases for Tatis and Machado, and Bogarts had a nice hit last night. So you want a guy that just slaps the ball on base and Arraez. But considering the end of last year, Arraez wasn't very good getting in that Dodger series, and he wasn't great. Maybe he can get his rhythm back batting between, after Tatis. But I'm with you on that. Tatis just sets the tone. As we were mentioning earlier, it's surprising when he doesn't get on base. So might as well lead it off. And you have big cleanup hitters in Machado and Bogarts anyway. So let him go to work.
Are we going baseball heavy on long shots today?
We're gonna mix it up.
Lakers are playing tonight.
We have some NBA, some MLB. We're gonna get locked in. Look, text line is very fired up about. I'm getting texts from people right now. My one of my great neighbors, one of my good friends. He agrees with me. He says you need to see videos of men with a baby in one hand catching a ball with a beer cup in the other one.
We've all seen those videos.
Those are men.
They're magical. They're awesome videos, but we'll get back to the text.
Can I tell you one thing before we get out? You don't end up on Sports Center catching a ball with a
Not
glove.
true.
You end up on Sports Center
Not true.
palming that thing.
My buddy, his name, well, it's one of my brother's best friends, like since they were in high school. Peter Sandino was number 10 on Sports Center one time. He was on the first baseline. It was a hot shot down the first baseline side, and he literally scooped it like a first baseman getting a short hop. It was one of the coolest things ever, and Peter still brags about it to this day.
But he
It's
had a
little
glove?
nauseating. He had a glove on.
Takes it away.
It does. He was literally on Sports Center top 10.
It takes it away.
You know how cool that was in a town like Merced getting on Sports Center top 10?
No, I'm happy for him. I'm just saying.
Peaked.
Do you know how cool that would be if that would be his Tinder profile? Just that. You know what I mean? Picking it off.
Peter has like 5 kids now, so maybe not Tinder.
All right,
but
never mind.
All right, we'll take a quick break. Long shots on the other side. If you're new to the show, long shots is when Sammy gets into his lab, his little booth over there. I don't even know what he does in there all day except make meatloaf. But Sammy is going to get into his lab. He's going to create a lineup. He's going to give it to you for free for you to go to one of your daily fantasy sports platforms. I prefer Prize Picks. Sammy prefers Prize Picks, but you do whatever you want. Sammy's lineup, long shots coming up next at San Diego Sports 760. San Diego Sports 760. Who is this?
Kid Rock.
Right on. It's San Diego Sports 760. My name is Ben Fletcher. That's Sammy Long. Thank you for being here. If it's your first time trying us out, you can follow us on X at Fletch and Sammy. Follow us on YouTube. Subscribe at San Diego Sports 760. We'd love for you to see our beautiful faces and Sammy's luscious hair. Every single day we're streaming live there. 619. I'm an adult. I've been taking my glove to games for years. 858. What's your take on Zach Hampel? Is Zach Hampel the YouTuber that goes around all the different ballparks?
Does he uses a glove? I'm assuming.
What, he's caught over 1,000 baseballs in his career?
I think the real question is, why do you have that much time on your hands to go catch 12,000 baseballs?
That's a great point. 619. What if you had to bring a baseball glove to the game to enter the stadium? The sight of every fan with a glove. Thoughts, Sammy? Hashtag SoCal Jayhawk.
SoCal Jayhawk, longtime listener. So if I had, I don't understand that. If I had to get into the stadium to bring a glove, well, then I guess I'd have to, but I wouldn't use it. I'd take it off immediately and give it to some kid.
Okay.
I would give it to some kid. I would say, hey, getting a ball at a game is cool for like 12-year-olds, and it means a lot. You know, it's a big deal.
The question on the table, by the way, because Sammy brought this up, was whether it's lame or not to bring a glove as a grown man to a baseball game.
Very.
I have no problem with it, but a direct quote from Sammy Long during a commercial break. I love doing this. Quote, that S would be mad embarrassing, yo.
So I didn't say yo.
I think you said yo.
I didn't say
Maybe
yo.
my brain just put the yo in there.
I didn't say yo.
But that S would be mad embarrassing, yo. That's kind of how Sammy
619 says, Sammy, stop. I've broken my hand catching a home run barehanded. Take a glove. Quacked on Padres, another loyal listener.
What up, Quacked?
Quacked, appreciate it. But hey, I hope your hand heals. But then again, I'm telling you, Tinder, great story. You go, hey, how did you get this? War story. I caught a baseball, one hand, barehanded. When you say, oh, I got it, I used a glove. Does it have the same aura? Does it have the same effect?
Totally worth spending hundreds of dollars at the doctor to fix your broken hand. 615, undeserving Padre fans crying about Luis Arraez 3 games in. Please, I would freaking love to have that dude back on my Marlins team. And he says, for the record, I'm obviously not talking about the two of you. I'm talking about Padres Twitter roasting him over the weekend. I did see that was a popular thing this weekend. And I would say give Arraez a little bit to settle in.
Yeah, it's one weekend.
All the dude's done over his career is hit like 320. All the dude's done is hit no matter where he's been. Now, this is the first time in his career he's dropped down in the lineup. So he's been hitting 2 for the most part. But that's the right thing to do because I think Fernando Tatis Jr., one of the most electric players in baseball, by the way, who's going to be here for the next 10 years, you want him to settle into that spot where he's had a ton of success throughout his career. And I would rather have that at the top because I do feel like Fernando is 10 times more important to this team right now and for the future than Luis Arraez is, who is going to be fine. He's going to figure it out. Let's relax. All right, every single day around 12:45, we do a little something called long shots. That is where Sammy Long enters the laboratory and starts getting a lineup ready for whatever's happening tonight in sports. Sammy, hit that button.
Let's see. Underdogs? Nah, that's old. Those with a less than good chance of winning? Too wordy. Wait, got it. It's time for Sammy's long shots.
By the way, the Zach Hampel dude that the text line brought up, people hate him.
Really?
Yeah, because he caught Mike Trout, I want to say his first home run ball. That was when he started to get a little following on YouTube. And then he caught A-Rod's maybe 6,000th career hit. I can't remember exactly, but he's bounced around a lot, and people despise him. I really have no feeling on him one way or the other.
Really?
Yeah. I think he will push little kids out of the way to try to catch balls.
That's the problem with it. Again, it's like
he's a grown man who's doing this.
It's like, give it to the kid. You know, it means a lot to them. They take it to the thing. You know, it's like when you're collecting it all over, I don't get it.
Wow. 559
text line's taking shots at me right now.
Serious thoughts about you. Sammy sounds like he gets no play with the women because of his toxic masculinity.
Whoa.
Sammy, I'm telling you, rip up the cool card, man.
It's not a cool card. It's a fact. Kids at games deserve to get the baseballs because it means something to them. If you go to work the next day and are bragging about how you caught a baseball, I'm sorry.
What if you get the baseball with your glove and then you hand it to a kid?
Well, you better be doing that. If you keep a baseball over a kid,
I agree.
That's another level.
What's so wrong with having a glove on your hand?
I don't understand how not bringing a glove to a game is toxic masculinity.
Apparently, you're toxically masculine, Sammy.
I'm toxic masculine.
I don't know that that's the vibe I've ever gotten from Sammy Long, by the way, but it's very funny when the text line does it.
Yeah, I'll give off the vibe toxic.
All right, give us long shots.
I wish I was toxic masculine in high school. All right, all right, we got a 4-leg parlay. And I want to just give a shout out Tyler, one of our loyal listeners, sending me some picks that I absolutely love right now.
What up, Ty?
We're gonna start with that one. He gave me Jason Tatum, Boston playing Memphis tonight on TNT. Really exciting game. A game that Memphis really needs after losing to the Lakers on Saturday. Jason Tatum, over 14 rebounds and assists. Tyler was telling me that the Memphis is actually number 1 in pace of play. And this is a really good note from him because they're going to need to be getting a lot of rebounds in this game. Tatum, I think, maybe takes a little setback as a scorer because his line is really high tonight. He's competing with touches for Jaylen Brown, Porzingis, that whole lineup there, Peyton Pritchard. But I think he's going to get active on the glass tonight, considering Memphis is a very big team. They have 3 centers between Jaren Jackson Jr., Zach Edey, and Jay Huff. So I think 14 points and rebounds and assists, more than for Jason Tatum.
All right. Number 2,
sticking in the same game, going to the other team, Ja Morant, 29 points and rebounds, more than. The game against the Lakers on Saturday was his first game back. He had missed 5-6 games in a row. The Grizzlies were on a little bit of a rough stretch. They went 2-4 in that. Friday, they got Taylor Jenkins fired. And it came out that one of the reasons he got fired is because the ball was not in Ja Morant's hands more. He was frustrated with that. Ja Morant is obviously the star player of their franchise. They go as he goes. So I think they're going to make a concerted effort to get the ball in his hands tonight. He had a big game against the Lakers on Saturday. He's going to need to have a big game if they're going to beat Boston tonight. So 29 points and rebounds, getting more than on Ja Morant.
Tell me we got some baseball coming up.
Baseball's saving for last.
Okay.
Just give me a second. This is to show you I'm not a homer because this is a pick against my Lakers. All right. Everyone knows I'm a diehard Laker fan. Alperen Şengün. Houston's playing the Lakers tonight. Massive game because Houston is 1-0 on the Lakers. The Lakers will play them tonight. And then on April 11th, if they were to win both games, they would win the tiebreaker. But Şengün, 10 rebounds. We're going more than. The Rockets have a lot of size. They're one of the best rebounding teams. They're the number 1 rebounding team in the entire NBA. They're a great defensive team, but they don't shoot the 3 ball well. They're 26 in 3-point percentage. It means there's going to be a lot of rebounds coming off. The Lakers don't have the size to match up with them. I think we're going to see a lot of Steven Adams, a lot of Şengün, 10 rebounds, very manageable, going more than on that.
What was the line you were doing?
What was the line? What do you mean the line I'm doing?
Like, what are we getting for Şengün?
10 rebounds more.
Okay.
All right, and then we're going to baseball. Padres, Fernando Tatis Jr. We're going Red Demon.
Yeah,
1.5 hits. 1.5 hits more than. Tatis on a heater, batting in that leadoff spot, so he's going to get even more looks. I think considering we were just talking about Luis Ariz has been struggling, at least the first 4 games. Tatis has been stepping up and is going to need to continue to step up. They're both on. Luis Ortiz is not the best pitcher for the Guardians, so I think he gets 2 hits tonight. If you're feeling a little aggressive, go Red Demon, get you that extra payout boost. Fletch, are you videoing one?
Yes, I am. It's going to be Jason Tatum.
Really?
I feel really good about that one.
Tyler and I cooked that up together. Tyler sent that. Our loyal listener, Tyler, goes to effort. And you want to
Jason Tatum. I think he's going to be a little more scoring focused. He's going to be a little less assist focused.
Tyler, okay. I'm sorry. Tyler and I like this. I like what Tyler sent in.
Fine, then Şengün.
That's good because I don't really want to read it. I'm not reading against the Lakers.
Şengün's gone. Leave Tatum in. 3 correct picks on this one. $20 to win 170 because of the demon with Fernando. I like that one a lot.
Yeah. All right. So just to recap,
I will say I would also take Fernando more than a half stolen base tonight.
Okay, but a 2 parlay on the same player is a little aggressive.
You can't put the same player in twice. Okay. But I'm saying instead of the 1.5 hits, I'd feel good about him stealing a base tonight.
All right. So Tatis, more than 1.5 hits. Red Demon. Jason Tatum, more than 14 rebounds and assists. Ja Morant, more than 29 points and rebounds.
All right, we'll get back to the text line coming up next. 70470. Start your message with team. Is Sammy a toxic masculine? I think that's the question.
A toxic masculine? Isn't it toxic masculinity?
559 saying Sammy sounds like he gets no play with the women because of his toxic masculinity.
Because I don't bring gloves to games.
Yeah, dude. Why are you just trying to like?
So girls go to games and go, "Oh my God, he's using a glove. He's so cute."
Maybe that's a play, man. Girls like the funny guys.
That's not funny. It's to bring a glove to a game. What is funny about that?
I think it's endearing. I really do.
And then we'll see if she likes you when you take the ball away from a kid.
559. I took a baseball glove on a first date, and it was also my first baseball game ever. The girl thought it was cute, and guess what? I caught a baseball.
Aww.
Did you catch the girl, bro? 559. Are you married? You have kids? What's going on here?
Yeah, I mean, the girl thought it was cute. What
did it work?
Yeah, you leave it like that.
San Diego Sports 760. We'll be back hour 2 next.
This sport is sponsored by Discover. Padres, after sweeping the Braves over the weekend, are 4-0 for the first time since 1984. They will start a 3-game series against the Cleveland Guardians. Kyle Hart will be making his debut for the Padres, while Luis Ortiz will go for Cleveland. Padres are currently a -135 favorite. And Magoon Guath, per reports of the X account League Ready, is taking a Zoom meeting with both Kentucky and Michigan, but has not ruled out a return to San Diego State. Guess what? Discover's accepted at 90% of places that take credit cards nationwide. You heard right, 99%. If you don't think so, maybe it's time to face facts. You're stuck in the past. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report, learn more at discover.com/credit card.
Hour 2 on a Monday at San Diego Sports 760. Thank you for being here. This is the Fletch Zone. My name is Ben Fletcher. That's Sammy Long. We will be here till 2 o'clock today when John and Jim will take over. And then after John and Jim tonight, we got the Lakers taking on the Rockets right here on San Diego Sports 760. Couple things before we get to the hour number 2, Big 3. Spent the weekend in Big Bear, which is an awesome freaking spot.
Gonna get to that. I was curious how the trip went.
It was a long trip there. Friday at 3:30 is not the right time to drive up to Big Bear because we got stuck in Escondido. We got stuck in Temecula. It took about 4.5 hours to get there, which should be a 2.5 hour drive. But once we did get there, it was awesome. My wife found this little cabin. It's kind of on the eastern side of Big Bear. So on the opposite side of the town as the ski slopes and everything are, but there was still snow on the ground in a lot of places. My dog got to run on the snow for the first time. It was hilarious.
I saw Brock was there.
He got the zoomies and was running all over the place and jumping up and down and trying to eat the snow, which was a proud papa moment for me. And then the Saturday night, though, my buddy from high school came up and surprised me. That was the other part of the birthday present awesome. That my wife did, which was great. I haven't seen him in a while, and he kind of showed up on Saturday, just pulled into the cabin. I was like, what the hell, Chris? Thanks. What? Ow. And so he showed up with a bottle of bourbon, and the night got crazy. But we were at a sports bar watching some of the college basketball that was going on, and we made our way back to the cabin. Cabin had a TV, no Wi-Fi, no nothing, no service. So we weren't able to watch live the rest of the games or anything that was going on in sports. What they did have was a DVD player and the movie The Princess Bride. I don't know where movie pacing has gone over the last, 3 decades since that movie came out. But talk about the best pace in a movie. And I've seen it before, but I haven't seen it since I was like 10 years old. Underrated flick, man.
How many edibles were you on when you were watching The Princess Bride?
None. Just a half bottle of Lost Republic bourbon.
Okay. Right.
We were sitting by the fire, pounding a bunch of whiskey.
Nice. That sounds like a fun weekend.
Dude, that movie is perfection.
I got to be honest, I've never seen it.
You should watch it. You would love it.
I've heard it's great.
My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father.
All right. You know what I started watching, by the way, that someone on the text line recommended. Might have been SoCal Jayhawk. Might have been someone else.
Seth Rogen show?
Studio. Really good. It's like kind of got some Entourage vibes. It's like they're going through LA. That's
all you had to say. I'm in.
It's fantastic.
How's Charlize Theron looking?
Very, very nice.
She's amazing. I love her. But yeah, Big Bear, awesome place. If you haven't been up, this is probably a pretty good time to get to it because it's easy to get to. Some of the prices on the cabins have come down as the snow level has come down, but there's still snow everywhere. Like the mountains are absolutely beautiful. The lake's looking good this time of year. We had lunch at this place. I think it's called 572 Social, which was phenomenal food, kind of a funky way to do things because you order at the bar, which I don't usually love. And they close you out every time you order something, and then you go find your seat.
It's keeping the tab open.
Yeah, you can't keep the tab open, which that's the one complaint I had. The food was awesome.
Actually, on that, sometimes when you're at like a packed bar, it's nice to just close out because there's nothing worse when you're like, all right, I'm done, don't want to be here anymore, and then you can't get it because then you say I'm going to close out, and they don't want to help you.
Yeah. But really great time. If you haven't been to Big Bear in a while, check it out. It's pretty cool up there right now. All right, Big 3. Every single hour we do this at the top. It is the top 3 stories in the world of sports, giving you some water cooler talk for when you head back into the office from your lunch break. Sammy, hit the button.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? Coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The Big 3.
Where are we going for hour 2?
All right, we got a second round of Big 3. We're going to start off at SDFC. Big win over LAFC over the weekend. Went up 3-0. LAFC scored 2 goals. LAFC actually had a red card throughout the game, so they were playing with a man down. But huge win for SDFC. What are your thoughts, man? How are you feeling about this team right now?
For an expansion team, This has gone about as good as it could possibly go to start their season, to start their career. I saw a bunch of video from Saturday night. I know our boy Jim Russell was at the game Saturday night. Snapdragon was packed. Actually, Kat Fisher, who is kind of mine and Sammy's boss, also my co-host in the mornings over on Big Rich, TD, and Fletch, she was at the game and said they've created something ridiculously special because the fan base is starting to get into a flow with the team. And from all reports, I need to get out to a game. I believe they're home again this Saturday.
Yeah,
Sammy, I'm taking you on a date. We're going to the game on Saturday night. And
we won't be bringing a glove to the game.
No, well, this is soccer, so it's a little different. If a ball comes my direction, I'm just going to give it a header.
You're going to head it back in.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe Chucky can play with it and juggle it, and it's going to be awesome. But look, it looks like the best show in town these days. I mean, Petco Park has been packed. Snapdragon has been packed for SDFC. We're in a pretty cool spot in San Diego sports because both teams are good. Both teams are competing with the top of the league. And SDFC, congrats on the first few weeks because this could have gone terribly and it's going excellently.
I mean, listen to the broadcast on San Diego sports. Adrian Garcia Marquez doing a phenomenal job. Darren Smith as well. And then the national broadcast, like, it seems like they're waiting for SDFC to kind of fall off the cliff, and they're not. And watching the game,
and they're playing soccer in such a fun way. They're so aggressive. They push the pace of everything. It's
weird how Lozano went out, and everyone went because the first couple they won the first game, but there were 2 goals. One was a mistake on the back end by the Galaxy, and the last one was they pressed everyone up and they got one kind of over their heads, but. They weren't having a lot of shots on goal the first 3 games, and they have completely changed that around. Honestly, playing without Lozano has taught them how to be more aggressive, and now you add Lozano back in, and it's special, man. Really fun to watch, and the crowds are insane, and it's just fun. I can't wait to get to go to a game.
So in the Western Conference, San Diego FC is currently in 3rd place with 11 points. That's because they have the record. They have 3 wins, 1 loss, 2 draws. I'm almost positive I have that right. And if they keep going, man, you're looking at a team that's going to finish in the top 3 in the West. That's the hope. And you're looking at a team that can make some serious noise in the postseason for MLS, which right now as an expansion team, that's all you can possibly hope for. This has gone perfectly. Story number 2.
Story number 2. March Madness. So all 1 seeds in the Final Four. A little bit of a dud over the weekend. Not a lot of super competitive games. How would you compare this tournament to tournaments in the past?
So I'm bummed that we get to a point where it's all 1 seeds because I've seen the memes online. They're hilarious because that one person in your office who doesn't know what they're doing has picked correctly up to this point. Yeah, exactly. It is a bummer that it's all 1 seeds because that takes away of the little bit of the madness of it all. However, we do have the 4 best teams in the country who are about to duke it out for the national championship. And in a little bit of a way, you take this is the college football playoff at this point. You got the 4 best teams left. Let's see what happens. Auburn has been the best team in the country all season long. Over the last few weeks, it's been Duke. Florida has been dominating everybody, finally got their first big test. This is a great Final Four. We just have to accept the fact that it's not an 8 seed from Dayton who's made it all the way to the end, right? And that kind of sucks because it's taken away the Cinderella aspect of this tournament. I don't know that it's 100% the transfer portal and NIL's fault. It certainly seems like that's a big contributing factor. But I'm excited to watch these 4 teams go head-to-head because I do think we have the 4 most talented basketball teams in the country playing against each other over the next week.
I think the games are going to be really good. It's funny how the college football playoff was kind of crushed for there being blowouts in the first couple games, and that's kind of March Madness has followed that a little bit. There hasn't been a lot of upsets. I think the non-Cinderella story, I'm curious to see what the ratings do because we're going to get great basketball. We're going to have 4 big programs with big fan bases. Now, if you're not a fan of one of those 4 teams, like the year San Diego State was in, and Florida Atlantic, and Miami, outside of UConn, you could get behind a San Diego State. You could get behind a Florida Atlantic, maybe a Miami. A lot of people hate Miami.
But those were great games.
They were great games. I don't know people hate Duke if you're not a Duke fan. People hate Florida if you're not a Florida fan. I wouldn't say people like Auburn. Houston's probably the most likable, I guess, of the 4 teams, but there's not really that underdog story. So you wonder if the casual fan that doesn't care about these 4 teams is going to really, really be locked into this.
Yeah, I'm curious to see when we do the diagnostic, the autopsy on this year's March Madness. Ratings have been up. We know that leading into the Elite 8. The Sweet 16 got better ratings than it's ever gotten before. So did the first couple rounds of this tournament. I'm curious to see what the Elite 8 did because most of those games were basically over after the first 10 minutes. And I'm curious to see what this Final Four does. For me personally, if I'm watching college basketball and I watch a ton of it throughout the entire season, I'm looking for better games over quality of team who's in those games. I would always prefer a 75-72 finish with chaos in the final few minutes with 7 or 8 lead changes throughout the entire game, I would always pull for that over having a Duke versus Houston. But the fact of the matter is we're here. Can these teams deliver great Final Four games is all I care about.
I think they can certainly do that.
I do too.
And
I think this is going to be awesome.
I know you're going to be locked in. I'm going to be locked in watching it. So they got me. I'm just curious to see what the ratings are. But hey, it's Final Four. It's always a fun part of the year. So
if it sucks, I'm going to be pissed. And I will say forever that the FAU San Diego State Final Four was one of the best ones I've ever witnessed. Because at this point, it is.
That was a great Final Four. All right, third story before we get to the next segment. NBA, 2 weeks out from the playoffs, just under. Lakers got a big one over Memphis. What is the hottest team you think heading into the playoffs right now out of the Western Conference?
Not the Lakers. They've been struggling a little bit. The hottest, Grizzlies have been playing good ball, even though they fired their head coach. Let's see what John Moran does here heading forward. Nuggets have been playing good ball. I saw a pass from Jokic the other day that didn't even seem possible when it was one of his no-look kind of, what is it, a shot, is it a pass? And he found a dude. It was awesome. You expect them to kind of be around at the end. The Lakers, if they want to make it in and make some noise in the postseason, the hotness needs to start now. They got a nice win over the weekend, like Sammy said. Tonight against the Rockets, pretty big matchup. You know where you can hear it? Right here on San Diego Sports 760. To answer the question, Nuggets.
All right. Yeah, the Nuggets don't play enough defense for me, but I hear you on that. They're going to be a tough out in the postseason. I think the Rockets are an interesting team because they haven't really gotten a lot of respect because they don't have Jalen Green's a really good player, but I don't know if he matches up as the number ones of a lot of other teams in the Western Conference. Obviously, Oklahoma City's been one of the best teams all year, best record, one of the best defenses in the NBA. I think the Lakers are going to be a real headache for people because outside of taking away the Bulls' overtime or buzzer beating loss, they have played really well against the Western Conference. They're like 31-11 against the Western Conference. They actually struggle more against the East. So I think that they're going to be a headache. Denver will be a tough out. But Minnesota down there at the bottom, I think, is an interesting team to keep your eye on. They really struggled early in the year after the Karl-Anthony Towns trade, getting Julius Randle in and Dante DiVincenzo. They're playing a lot better ball recently. And Anthony Edwards, if DiVincenzo's contributing, and in that team, they could cause some matchup problems, especially in terms of size for the teams at the top. I think Minnesota's the team to watch down there at the bottom.
Have you already kissed the 2 seed goodbye for the Lakers, or with the win tonight? Do you think it's still possible?
It's literally on the line tonight. If they win because they play Houston.
Rockets currently have that 2 seed, and Lakers are 4 games back of them.
3. They're 3 games back in the loss column, but they play Houston 2 more times tonight, and then 1 more. If they won both of those, the 2 seeds in play. If they lose one of them and they lose the tiebreaker, then it will be a 4-game deficit because they'll have to jump them. So tonight is really the Lakers' shot at the 2 seed if they want to do it.
All right, on YouTube, Paris says, good afternoon, gents. Went to the Padres game Saturday. It was a fun night. Awesome, Paris. Good to hear. Rich says, where is Sammy sitting next time he's at Petco? Hopefully it's not in a foul ball hot zone.
I was first base side. I was right there.
You had the net in front of you, though, yeah?
No, I was ready. I'm telling you, we had empty beer cups. We were ready to go.
And Paris said, I had all 4 of the 1 seeds on my bracket going all the way. Good for you, Paris. You called it. You and Jay Williams.
Yeah, I got to give credit to people who went chalk.
How's your bracket look? Mine is utterly
Michigan State cooked me.
Mine is utterly destroyed.
Mine was Michigan State was my kind of quasi sleeper pick, even though they were a 2 seed because everyone took Auburn, and they them in Tennessee did not do me any favor. I had Michigan State beating Tennessee in the final. In my brother's bracket, which he does through his he's a junior college women's coach, and in that bracket, which is kind of like a fundraiser for his program, I am in dead last. Really? Dead last. I do have Houston winning the whole thing, so maybe I'll get lucky here, but dead last as of this point. Oh, man. Brackets are brutal this time of year. All right. San Diego Sports 760. It is the Fletch Zone. Thank you for being here. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, the torpedo bats have really taken over the world of baseball. Why isn't everybody using them? Let's get back to it coming up next. San Diego Sports 760.
Download the free iHeartRadio app. We gave it a bit of a facelift heading into 2025. You can now add us to your presets, both the Fletch Zone podcast, San Diego Sports 760. Make it easy, like your old car. You know how you used to hold down the one button for your favorite station? Well, now you can add us into the number one slot on your free iHeartRadio app. Just hit that little plus button. And as always, use that talkback mic, baby. We love to hear from the talkbackers. Coming up tomorrow, your only chance to win Outlaw Music Festival tickets is going to be with the talkback mic. So you want to prep for that? Make sure you get it in your system.
We love the talkback mic. We had a lot of great entries last week. What was our question? Most overrated bands?
Yeah.
We had some hot takes. People had talk about the Beatles, talk about the Stones, U2.
True story. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch currently, as we speak, on TikTok, is going a little bit viral for a Creed song. Thank you.
What'd you guys sing higher?
No, it's just a blind reaction of Rich and TD sitting at the console listening to a remix of a Creed One Last Breath.
Okay.
It's pretty funny. It's adorable. You should check it out. That was Outlaw Music Festival tickets. Tomorrow you can win them on the talkback mic. Today, old-fashioned way, baby. You just got to be listening for the next 6 or 7 minutes. We're going to give them out, and I will tell you when to call. Tickets and info, Ticketmaster.com. Willie Nelson, Bob Dylan, Billy Strings, Sierra Hull, all in one concert at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater on May 15th. Okay. Paperwork taken care of. Let's talk about Roki Sasaki. Roki Sasaki didn't get out of the second inning in his debut for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Roki Sasaki was the apple of the eye for a lot of teams around Major League Baseball this past offseason. He's a phenom. Played Japanese baseball, makes his way over to the MLB. Padres were in on him, fighting hard for him. Dodgers won him, obviously. We're fighting hard for him. Blue Jays, and you could go about 10 more teams deep. Everybody wanted Roki Sasaki to join their team. He chose the Dodgers, and whether that was a handshake deal that was already done before this offseason even begun, or whether that was truly the team that just won him out this offseason, we'll never know the true answer to that. What we do know is how his debut looked. And I came away from his debut feeling really bad for Roki Sasaki, which are two things I did not think I would say heading into this season. But Roki Sasaki got roughed up. He couldn't get out of the first 2 innings. He walked a ton of people, did not have command of his pitches. He looked nervous. He didn't look comfortable whatsoever in his major league debut, and he got yanked early. And there's video that's gone viral and viral and viral of Roki Sasaki sitting at the top of the dugout, arms over the thing, and you could see what looks like a couple tears in his eye. And he obviously looked uncomfortable there too. And I did feel bad for him because I'm thinking about the amount of pressure that's on him right now. All those fan bases that we just mentioned, I'm sure we're in his DMs and commenting on these posts like, thank God we didn't get him. All those fan bases we just mentioned are looking at him as if he's going to be the next superstar, and he should have been the next superstar on their team. And then the Dodgers are looking at him like, well, you're our 5th starter this year, which is the luxury that the Dodgers have. But also like, dude, we took a pretty big swing on you. The hope is that you are a great pitcher for the Dodgers, and he probably still will be. But in that moment, he was just a scared kid who would disappointed his teammates, his coaches, his players, everyone who took faith in him.
The Dodgers aren't worried because the Dodgers have such a plethora of pitchers. He's the 5th starter right now, and if he's second start. It was home debut on Saturday. Obviously pitched in Korea. And then if he's not getting it done, they're going to bring Dustin May up. They're going to bring Tony Gonsolin up. I mean, they have a plethora of guys down in the minors they can bring up. Yeah, Sasaki, I can't imagine the pressure on Yamamoto last year because the Dodgers, at least with Sasaki, he's free. He's free. They're paying him like $3-4 million a year. So again, I think he's probably going to be a great pitcher. Again, it's second start.
And you could tell he put so much pressure on himself in those moments. That's why I felt bad for him. Not necessarily because of all the outside noise, but you could tell he was trying to live up to an expectation of himself, and he feels like he let his whole team.
When the Padres roughed up Yamamoto in Japan last year, people were sounding the alarm bells because the Dodgers paid him a crap ton of money. Different here. The NL West is so loaded. I mean, it's insane. We mentioned earlier, the Bleacher Report did a way too early power rankings a weekend into the season, half a weekend into the season, and the Dodgers are 1, Padres are 2, and the Diamondbacks are 5, and the Giants are at 14. They're 2-1. So it's going to be a really fun ride in the NL West. I expect the Dodgers fully to win the division just because of the sheer talent. But we could be looking at the Dodgers getting the playoffs along with the Padres and the Diamondbacks, and those are 3 teams that are going to be a hell of an out for anyone, whether they end up playing the Dodgers or whatever happens there. But certainly a fun, going to be a fun season.
Now, some of the things surrounding the Roki Sasaki thing was obviously social media, people calling for bullying, all the normal stuff we see when something like this happens. And look, he was crying, he wasn't crying. No one ever will know that except for Roki Sasaki. It certainly looked like he was crying. Now, Jonathan Lucroy, who was an all-star catcher, I believe he was with the Nationals for most of his career, was in the big leagues for a long time, has a tweet out that he is getting criticized big time for. You listen to this and tell me if you see any lies in this. Maybe it's a little harshly worded, but I do think his sentiment is correct. Quote, he's soft. I've seen it before. Only thing that will help him is to fail massively. He will either peter out or transform into a hardened warrior. That will be his choice. Big time players make big time plays in big time situations. So we got cliche after cliche after cliche.
It is my number one pet peeve in sports, and people say that.
But at a certain point, like, and you could say this about any young up and coming superstar, Jackson Merrill is going to face this year. I promise you, he is going to go into a slump, and it's going to be his choice whether he becomes what we all think Jackson Merrill is or if he peters out. When you think about Ryan Weathers with the Padres a couple years ago, makes his first debut, and it's in the postseason. I believe it was against the Dodgers. I might have that wrong, but Ryan Weathers comes out and he's like amazing at first. And then his second year, he really struggles. We haven't really heard much from Ryan Weathers since. So Roki Sasaki, I do think that this tweet from Lucroy is right. He's either going to be amazing and he's going to take this adversity and roll with it. And maybe even if he sucks this entire year, that might make him better later on, or he's going to peter out and go away.
Well, the Dodgers have the luxury of they can send him down, or as I mentioned, put May or one of these guys in. I mean, Shohei Ohtani's not even pitching for a couple months. There was like a setback there. If the Padres had gotten him, now, I mean, we're looking at it a little bit differently because Vasquez and Pivetta were so good at the back end, but he would be, I mean, he would, even if he was sucking, he would boot out Hart tonight. I mean, there's no way Kyle Hart's starting over Roki Sasaki. He was a San Diego Padres. So the Dodgers have the luxury of kind of stashing him on the bench if he is struggling, but these other teams certainly would have, I mean, needed to play him all the time.
And of course, here it is from the 619 F Roki Sasaki. Very nice.
We have a lot of text popping in right now.
We do have a ton. Let's hit them on the other side. Yeah, let's do that. Back to the text line we go, 70470. Start your message with team, whether it's about bringing a baseball glove to a baseball game, which seems like a totally normal thing to do. You could talk about it there. You could also talk about Roki Sasaki there. It is the San Diego Sports 760. It's the Fletch Zone. Thank you for being here. We'll take a quick break. Back to the text line we go. Coming up next, and a preview of tonight's game for the San Diego Padres. That's why we love baseball. There's always tomorrow, isn't there? That's coming up next. San Diego Sports 760.
This sport is sponsored by Anderson Plumbing, Heating, and Air. The Padres are back tonight after sweeping the Braves over the weekend to go 4-0, the first time since 1984. The 3-game series will be at home against the Cleveland Guardians. Kyle Hart will be making his debut for the Padres, while Luis Ortiz will go for Cleveland. The Padres are currently a -135 favorite. In the NFL, there's been a big push to ban the tush push. The Packers are behind it, and it'll be a hotly debated topic at the winter meetings, or summer meetings. Kitchen sink more clogged than Monday morning traffic. Kitchen clog catastrophe. Avoid a flood that your home insurance won't cover. $63 stoppage guarantee. Anderson Plumbing Rooter Drain Services. They always know what's below. Nobody wows clients like they do.
San Diego Sports 760. Thank you for being here today. It's the Fletch Zone. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you every single day, noon to 2. John and Jim will take over after that. Coming up tonight, right after John and Jim, Lakers, Rockets, big one in the West of the NBA. All right. We did long shots a little bit earlier. Sammy, we'll do a little recap of what your picks were coming up at the end of the show today. So around 1:45. Also, I said that we were going to give away those Outlaw Music Festival tickets at the end of the last time you heard our voices. Turns out it's the end of this time you hear our voices. So hang on for the next 5 or 6 minutes, and we will give those tickets away. Sammy, you're in charge of reminding me. Text line 619, love the Princess Bride. Why do you wear a mask? Were you burned by acid or something like that? Immediately falls down the hill as you wish. Great scene, great movie. 619, happy birthday, Fletch. Miss you guys in the morning. You can still find us in the morning. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch every single day over on 101.5 KGB, 6 to 10 a.m. Other 619 number says F. Roki Sasaki. Just kidding. Haha. 615, me. Every time Sammy says the word plethora, tell me, Hefe, what is a plethora?
You know,
Do you know what that movie is?
No. Is that Napoleon Dynamite?
Bird. No, it's Three Amigos.
Oh.
Steve Martin, Chevy Chase, and the little guy. What's his name? Martin Short.
Martin Short.
Great movie. Have you seen that
good.
one?
I've a long time ago, yeah.
Does not work in 2025. I tell you that, but it is hilarious.
It's a time
man.
capsule.
Yeah.
Yeah, I realized I said that plethora twice in the span of a minute. I was like, someone's going to say something about that, and let alone they did.
That's good. 619, there is no petering in Jackson, Merrill. If there is petering, it's Merrill. I can't read the rest.
I was about to say, I'm like, are you sure you want to read that one?
And 619, it's okay to bring a glove to a Major League Baseball game if you're 10 years old.
858 says, I got 2 balls in life and never brought a glove to a game. A foul ball off Will Venable and a ball from Heath Bell. After a game, both times I turned into a kid, handed it to him. Real adults don't need dust collectors. I've donated more signed balls than magnitude or imaginable. Donate. I can't read. Donate your old items to youth sports programs.
You had trouble with that one. Imaginable.
It's so small.
Tricky word.
The text line is so small.
It's a tricky word. It really is.
559 says I'm not toxic.
Yeah, let's see. You're not toxic, Sammy. I was just playing, man. You sound like a stand-up guy. Love the show.
Aww.
Keep it up, dudes. I just didn't get the opportunity to go to games as a kid, so of course I had to take a glove for my date, and I go to games at Petco all the time now. See, Sammy, it's okay to bring a glove to a baseball game.
The text line doesn't agree. Everyone on the text line is agreeing with me.
It's okay to bring a ball.
I'm getting texted from people that are like, everyone's like, yeah, obviously you're right on this. What is Fletch talking about?
Because it's fine, dude. Every once in a while, you got let your inner child out. You got to have fun for once.
Jonathan, loyal listener, DM me. He said, the only time I bring a glove to a game is if my 3-year-old son's with me. That's fine. You're protecting your kid. Okay. But he said, other than that, unacceptable.
I don't think it is. I think it's fine, dude. If you want to bring a glove to a game, you should bring a glove to a game. By the way, tailgating games, it's fun to have a game of catch outside the ballpark before you go in.
And then you can leave it in your car and head on the ballpark.
All right, we got to get off of that. Padres have a game tonight. They're playing against the Cleveland Guardians, opening up a 3-game series. I think I have that right.
Another good team. So
another good team.
I mean, you're looking at, that's why this win over the sweep over the weekend is a big deal, because Atlanta is a good team. I know they don't have Acuna, but this is a team that we're expecting to be there late in the year. I know it's early to look at tiebreakers and things like that, but that's obviously
never
massive.
too early.
Never too early.
John and Jim got 4 hours of it coming up in just a little bit.
yeah. Tiebreaker talk. Tiebreaker talk with John and Jim. And then, I mean, Cleveland Guardians, really good team. This is a team that was one of the Final Four in the AL, but very excited for this one. And the Padres are doing it against good teams. So excited to see a new team coming to town, but looking forward to this series.
The whole first month plus of the Padres, outside of a brief stint where you play the A's and the Rockies, are baseball against good teams. And the A's aren't bad to start the year, actually, which is a little surprising. But the Braves, sweeping them is huge. Yes, I mean, eventually down the line, it would be nice to have a tiebreaker potentially in the wild card race against the Atlanta Braves, who we all expect to be there at the end. But the Guardians coming to town today. It's nice to open up with a 7-game homestand. And then you go on the road to face the Cubs, the A's, back home against the Rockies, back home against the Cubs, and then it's Astros, Tigers, Rays. You're talking about, 5 playoff teams in the first month plus of your season? It's not an easy draw to get things started, but the Padres playing the way they are through the first 4, you feel pretty good about it. You feel pretty good about getting these tests out of the way early on in the season. And then not to mention, there's still the road trip against the Yankees that's coming up, road trip against the Pirates. The first Padres-Dodgers game is not until all the way in June. June 9th is the first Padres-Dodgers game. Major League Baseball, what the hell are we doing with the schedule?
Well, and where are the Diamondbacks on here? Diamondbacks are a really good team. Where are they on the schedule? I'm looking now.
Potentially even after the Dodger series.
So the Giants are at the end of April. Padres, Yankees will be fun. That's in the middle of May, early May.
Padres, Dodgers, June 9th through the 11th, then Diamondbacks, June 13th through the 15th, and then back to the Dodgers.
This is a massive mistake. Capitalize on division opponents.
Why would that? Okay. The other thing, I wasn't even going to bring this up today, but here we go. The first Sunday night baseball that the Padres had of the season, it was on ESPN. It was last night. It was against the Braves. Great. I can't stand ESPN's announcers for baseball.
First off, hold on. I said that in the playoffs, and you gave me crap for that.
Did I? That doesn't sound like something I would say because I've always been for that.
No, you were ripping me for saying that. Yeah,
I can't believe I said that. If I did, I'm sorry because I've always said that teams should have their broadcasters in the postseason as well for more than just radio.
It's a tough watch.
It's tough. It's brutal.
It's they've gotten killed because they're always overly positive. With whoever team they have, it's way too much.
I don't believe you that I said that.
You did say it.
Wasn't Joe Davis on the call for the Padres-Dodgers series?
No,
Joe
it was
Davis
a couple weeks before. I said
also the home announcer for the Dodgers.
I actually feel like even though I actually like Joe Davis on the call, even though I know he's a Dodger guy. He seems pretty impartial when he calls games. The ESPN team is so overly positive with whatever team they're playing. It's like, dude, it's excessive. Well, calm down.
We had 3 days of Don and Mud goofing around in their little broadcast booth with the new disco ball that Don has. And by the way, the guy that lives across the street now from the Padres, who they show at least once per game on camera, because he lives in one of those high rises, he put a disco ball up on his porch. That's part of what makes baseball great is the home announcers. You're all in on the joke. You're part of the family too. Don and Mud are in your living room every night during a baseball season. Like they're doing kind of a radio show.
Yeah, totally. It's
what makes baseball great. But instead, once a week, we're going to take me and Sammy, kick us the hell out of here, and Colin's going to take over the Fletch zone. No one wants that. We don't need that.
Colin.
Maybe some people would rather have Colin than us.
but no, it is something true. It's like,
but I mean, Colin trying to do a San Diego specific show is what it would be, and that's a waste of time.
It's stay with me for a second. They talked about this when they remade The Office. When it was when it was the British version, it was a 6-episode special, so they could kind of make a David Brent out to be kind of crazy. But when you're watching a TV show, just like you're watching a baseball game and you're inviting announcers inside your home every night, you're watching a game. You're watching a show and you're almost inviting the characters into your lives for 30 minutes. They're talking about how they had to change the U.S. office to make it a little bit more not quite as biting and things like that. Same goes for baseball. It's like you kind of spend 7 months out of the year with the announcers with Don and Mud, and then you throw ESPN in there. So
I wish I'd never had to go through it again, but of course we will. And eventually I know for a fact a couple of the Padres primetime games are against the Dodgers this year.
Well, it is a good sign that the Padres are on primetime because it means they're relevant.
Yeah, I think they have like 5 or 6 games on primetime.
You know who you don't see on Sunday Night Baseball?
Who?
The Colorado Rockies.
The Oakland Athletics.
The Oakland
Not
Athletics.
even Oakland Athletics anymore. I don't know what the hell they are right now.
Wherever they're at. The soon-to-be Las Vegas Athletics.
619. I look at a grown man wearing a glove to the baseball game the same way I look at adults who go to Disneyland with no kids. # do better, people. I also do that. So,
yeah, dude, there's some weird stuff going on with you over there. 619.
I love my wife.
Agree.
All right. And my wife loves Disneyland and I love her, which is why I will go to Disneyland without children.
Do you get the big Mickey Mouse ears?
You're damn right I do, Sammy.
Get a big churro?
I actually have a hat that looks a lot like this hat, except it has Mickey Mouse ears on top. And I wear it proudly. I would
pay so much money to watch you walk around downtown Disney and wear that thing. You kick kids off the tram. You're like, no, I got to get on Kendall and I.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's what we do. If you're in line for Splash Mountain, get the hell out of the way.
Just like when
here
you
I
catch
come.
a baseball with a glove, you don't give it to a kid.
I'm not saying I bring a baseball glove to baseball games, but I don't mind people who do. I encourage it. In fact, I'm going to the Padres game tomorrow night. I might be bringing a freaking glove. All right, just to put an end to this.
That is so
stigma.
embarrassing. I hope you rethink that decision.
I still have my first base glove. It's in my closet. I'm going to go find it, and I'm going to bring it to the game tomorrow night, and I'm going to catch a ball, and I'm going to hand it to whatever young kid is sitting next to me.
Good.
That's what real men do, Sammy. We embrace the inner child that lives within us, and we have fun every once in a while. God, when did it become illegal to have fun?
I'm gonna call Kendall. We're gonna make sure that you didn't sneak that ball to your house.
Oh yeah, I might. Who knows? Everyone wants a little souvenir every once in a while. All right, right now, if you want to win tickets to the Outlaw Music Festival featuring Willie Nelson, his guitar trigger, Bob Dylan, Billy Strings, and Sierra Hull at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater on May 15th. Caller number 7 right now. You are going 877-767-4760. Tickets and info. And for everybody else, you can visit Ticketmaster.com. But caller number 7, you are going for free. By the way, does everyone know the story about Willie Nelson's guitar trigger?
Tell us.
He's had this guitar since I want to say 69, like 1969. It's the only guitar he plays at shows. It has a giant hole in it right next to the fret because somebody got drunk and stepped on it at some point. But he keeps it. He keeps restringing it. He plays the same guitar everywhere he goes because he feels like that is what gives his music the classic Willie Nelson sound. He plays a broken guitar. He always
awesome.
He has since 1969.
Yeah, it's like the kids who have the old dusty baseball bat who go to tryouts and nuke balls, and everyone's got the brand new gear. It's like, yeah.
Dude, you got the Stealth this year? What? All right, San Diego Sports 760. Take our final break. We'll be back. Get you ready for John and Jim. Get you ready for the rest of the day here on San Diego Sports 760. Keep it here. Download the Prize Picks app today. You're going to want to use promo code Fletch when you do so, because that's going to get you a $50 bonus when you play your first $5 entry. Sammy Long gifted you all a free lineup for today. You could use that $50 and roll with this one. I know I am. Jason Tatum, more than 14 rebounds and assists. Ja Morant, more than 29 points and rebounds. And Fernando Tatis Jr., more than 1.5 hits in tonight's matchup. That's how easy it is. You just log on to Prize Picks. You pick more than or less than on at least 2 players. Their stat projections, right? Hits, RBIs, points in basketball, rebounds in basketball, goals in soccer. It doesn't matter what your sport is. There is something for you on Prize Picks. Even e-gamers, there is home for that too. Kill to death ratio in Call of Duty. You can make a lineup on pretty much anything with Prize Picks. Download the app today. It takes about 60 seconds. Use promo code Fletch. It takes about 5 more seconds. And you are going to get that $50 bonus when you play your first $5 entry. And watch out for the promotions. They happen every single week. Taco Tuesday, Flex Friday, plus on a random Wednesday every once in a while, they will throw some discounts on the board. You got to download Prize Picks. We are in the busiest time of the sports calendar. The greatest tournament in golf 2 weeks away. College basketball's final moments happening right now. And the baseball season just getting underway. Download Prize Picks today. Use promo code Fletch. Get that $50 bonus and run your game all season long on Prize Picks. Because I got Afro Man, dude. Great album. Came out in the late 90s. This was bangers all the way through. Colt 45, 2 Zigzags. Paul
Speaking
Dale.
of getting high, Daniel will be going to the Outlaw Music Festival. Willie Nelson, I'm sure there will be some substances smoked there.
Congrats, Daniel. Thank you for listening to the show, pal. Appreciate it. And yeah, Outlaw Music Festival with Willie Nelson, Bob Dylan, Billy Strings, and Sierra Hull. We'll have another pair of tickets to that tomorrow, as well as the rest of the week. Tomorrow, you're going to have to win them on the talkback mic, though. So make sure you download that free iHeartRadio app. Sammy playing some Afro Man coming into this segment for good reason. We will get you ready for the Padres game tonight. But first, have we all seen which movie theater company is this?
I don't know if they've put it out yet. They're trying to. Variety wrote this.
So
AMC Times Square.
AMC is trying to now allow, in certain theaters at least, weed smoking and texting during movies. I will not go to a movie theater if weed smoking and texting is allowed in the movie.
Oh, I have a much bigger problem with texting than I do with weed smoking.
It is a sacred place where you go and for 3 hours you can just suspend reality. Anything that's happening in the outside world just goes away. That's already a high of its own. We don't need to add anything else into it.
Well, here's the thing. So
Yeah.
They're looking at texting, smoking weed, and sing-alongs.
God, food sales would go through the roof.
Yes, well, that's why they're doing it. Fun fact, that's how movie theaters make most of their money. It's
Popcorn.
not lay off the ticket sales.
Oh yeah, you worked at a movie theater.
Yeah, I
didn't
worked for a year or two. Angelica and Carmel Mountain.
Did you have unlimited popcorn from the movie theater?
They actually, some of the managers were tight about that. They got, because people used to, there was a thing where, I don't want to get anyone in trouble. I won't use any names.
No, go ahead.
The bartenders would taste test the alcohol before they served it, and so that was found out that people were doing a few little.
Well, that's a thing in the restaurant industry. You got to taste the.
But people were getting a little sloppy by the time 7:00 rolled around. The prime thing. But then they stopped. They wouldn't let us get food. But our one perk was that if the movie theater was 60% open, then we could go to the movie.
Oh, so free movies.
Free movies if it's not an opening night. Like if Spider-Man was out and the whole theater was packed, you couldn't get free movies.
It's a part of me wants to pick up a part-time job at a movie theater just to see free movies, and the other part of me wants to pick up a part-time job at a golf course so I could play free golf.
Yeah, movie theater is a fun spot. Golf, like that's a fun. First off, my thing with this though is, I mean, let's be real. People already smoke weed at movie theaters already. So I don't think this is that big of a difference. Sing-alongs I have a bit of a problem with.
Wait,
like
people smoke weed in the movie theater?
Have you been to a movie theater?
Yeah, all the time.
You're going to the bougie ones.
No, the like cheapest one in San Diego, Ultra Star Cinemas, baby. Go there at least once every 2 or 3 weeks.
There's always a hefty smell at Edwards Mira Mesa.
Maybe I just haven't been there.
But no, see, texting I have a problem with. Like, I don't want someone to be texting. There's nothing more annoying than when people are texting during a movie. Sing-alongs, I think, would be frustrating as well if you have someone belting it out next to you while you're trying to watch a movie. But I mean, if weed was allowed, it's not that much different than alcohol.
I wish there were like law officers standing in movie theaters for any time anyone opens their mouth during a movie or anyone opens their phone during a movie, they get kicked out. There is a zero tolerance policy for noise making. That includes unwrapping like individually wrapped candies while you're at your seat. There's a reason movie theaters sell them in bulk, people. Come on, open it before the movie starts. I got a lot of thoughts on movie theaters.
I had to watch Oppenheimer, and this couple comes in the whole theater style. Everyone, it's a movie you're trying to pay attention because it's very
it's intense.
It's intense.
Dialogue forward.
Having a full-on conversation. Then we decide 30 minutes in the movie that we don't like it. I'm like, yeah, maybe because you were talking the whole time.
Yeah, I'm kicking people out. If I opened up a movie theater, I would kick people out regularly. All right, Padres tonight, they start a 3-game set with the Guardians. Luis Ortiz on the mound for Cleveland, going up against Kyle Hart, the newly added Padres pitcher. He won the Cy Young Award of the KBO a year ago. We'll see what he has, man. The Padres pitching has been a little backwards from what we expected it to be. Michael King really struggled in his debut this year. 3 innings for Michael King earlier on Thursday last week. Dylan Cease, while he got the job done, wasn't at his best by any means. And then Vasquez and Pivetta were really, really great for the Padres. 6 innings and 7 innings between the two of them. We'll see what Kyle Hart does tonight. I don't know where expectations are for him within the Padres organization, but they took a bit of a flyer on him, and it was little risk to the team. It's not like they're paying him a ton of money, but you bring over the top dog from the KBO a year ago. How does he translate to Major League Baseball this year? It's fascinating to find out. And then in terms of the lineup, you're hoping for more of the same from the boys with the bats, man. Maybe some torpedo bats make their debut for the Padres tonight. But Fernando Tatis Jr., Manny Machado, Jackson Merrill, those have been your key 3 offensively, along with Gavin Freak in the sheets. We'll see what happens for the Padres tonight. Sammy, any score predictions for tonight?
I'm going to go 4-2. I think Jason Hayward hits a 2-run shot.
Padres gets a 5-0. Hayward struggling a little bit out of the gate.
That's why I think Hayward's a big-time player. He's going to get a turnaround.
I like it. 4-2 Padres.
We're going to get to all these texts tomorrow, by the way. We have some beautiful texts coming in right now.
And some like chaotic ones that no chance they can ever be read. All right, John and Jim coming up next. Stay tuned because we got the Lakers game tonight taking on the Rockets. Huge matchup in the West. John and Jim next. Thank you for being here today.